Go ahead. You can start the session. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ravi. Thank you, Ravi. Thanks for the introduction.
Yeah.
Very good morning. This is Samit Joshi. I'm a senior application engineer in ADS Technologies. So today, this is my webinar agenda, and I'll be discussing on this points: simulation life cycle, solution offerings for real-time simulation, network setup, VTMAC via process key features, GUI-based model and parameter editors, tool highlights, application, demo, live demo, and after that we will have some question answer session. So before I'll go into depth of our simulation solution tool, I'll start with this life cycle chain. Like in our real world scenario, when we go for simulation, we need one scenario to have some terrain, to have some buildings, trees, roads, and our objects like entity, gun, tank, ship, aircraft, and naval system. So to create all these things, we need content creation tools. So content creation to develop a 3D models for that scenario. Now next is simulation. So simulation is a imitation of the operation of a real world process or system over time. So to the act of simulating something, first we require that the model to be developed. So that we have already developed through content creation. We take these models and represent that model as a characteristics of behavior of the selected physical or abstract system or process. Then what we have simulated, we need to visualize. So for that we have visualization tools. Either it will be in 2D, 3D, or some other views what we have in our simulation. Next, HMI, which we call as the human-machine interface. So if you need to incorporate or integrate any cockpit displays like your knob panels and all, that you can develop by using HMI tools. So this is our simulation life cycle, how it goes actually. So solution which we offer for simulation is ViaForces. ViaForces is a VTMAC complete CGF platform to fill your synthetic environment with urban, battlefield, maritime, and aerospace activity. So it's very powerful simulation engine, and you can create scenarios with very user-friendly interface. And whether you need a threat generator for training and mission rehearsal system, or a synthetic environment for experimentation, an engine to stimulate C4I systems, or an aggregate level simulation models for high level volume scenarios, ViaForces give you the job get done. So currently we are having a version of 4.4. So after that I'll discuss about this network setup, how it works actually. Suppose we have system 1 and system 2. In system 1 it can be located at your desktop, or system 2 it can be anywhere within a building or other geographical location. So how we interact with each other? So suppose I have system 1, system 2, they all are connected with LAN, and this LAN we use two international standard communication protocol, DIS and HLA. DIS stands for Distributed Interactive Simulation, and HLA stands for High Level Architecture. So you can see system 1 we have comprised of two parts. One is GUI, which we call front end, and one is simulation engine, which we call back end. So how they interact each other? So for that we have internal VRLink independent library. So by using this VRLink library, we can connect system 1 to system 2 using your LAN or WAN network. So it can be your simulator user defined application. You can see in the bottom of the slide, application 1. It can be your custom application 1, 2, 3, or other application also. So if you have a supported version of DIS versions or HLA, you can easily interact with this two systems, system 1 and system 2. So in system 1 also you can see ViaForces remote control API. Why we use this remote control? Suppose you are sitting at another geographical region and you want to control your GUI. from another region, that you can control using remote control API. So this is already incorporated with VRForces. So we have currently versions of DIS is DIS version 7, and this is which is latest version. And actually we have HLA 1.3, RPA 1.0, HLA 156, RPA 1.0, HLA 1516 evolved. So now I'll go with this VDMAC VRForces key features, and they are very interesting actually. So in VRForces we have 2D and 3D interface, and that too very user-friendly interface. It's not like very complex, and that we use for scenario generations and runtime visualization, like how we see how our simulation objects it responses after giving some task and plans. Second is correlated simulation visualization, like I've told you, what you have simulated in your environment, in synthetic environment, that you can visualize with. We have different observation modes, like your plan view, we can say it is a 2D, then stealth view 3D, some exaggerated view to see your visualization in very bigger mode, and we have some sensors modes also. That I'll explain you in my tool demo. HLA and DIS compliant, terrain agile, and including streaming terrain. We have a lot of terrain formats which VRForces supports, like CTDB, C4B, and C7B databases. OpenFlight, UTM databases, paper maps, for example, CADRG and BMP files, digital terrain elevation data, which we say detect files, shape files, DFAD, and VFD files that we support in VRForces already. Streaming terrain, suppose if you have a local system and you don't want any elevation, you don't have elevation data or image data with your system, and you want to stream that data from other location, we have this procedure calling stream terrain, for that we have VR the world server. That server, it can be your own place or it can be your another intercontinental region also. You can easily stream the terrain. Now we have a GUI based model and parameter editors. So before going to scenario creation and before you are placing these models into your scenario, we need some database which has some thresholds value, like your how much speed you need in a scenario, maximum speed, minimum speed, and your climb rate, drive rate. That all parameters you can define through this model and parameter editors. So which is also a user friendly. Then we have a key feature batch mode for analysis. Suppose you are playing a scenario, and some scenarios you're not able to see work. So lot of scenario you can collect and you can run at the same time. So this features we are called as a batch mode for analysis. So whether it can be a single scenario for single time or multiple scenarios at the same time, that you can run and you can analyze it easily. Then we have real-time and non-real-time operation. So either you are offline, so you can work easily, you can create a scenario, you can analyze the scenario, you can record the scenario, this you can do offline. And real-time is supposing you have connected with other simulation environment or other simulation application through network. That real-time data you can connect with that simulation application. So we work with both real-time and non-real-time operations. One of our important key feature is C++ toolkit to extend or embed in custom application, because our VRForces tool is totally based on C++ actually. So you can easily extend the capability which already VRForces has, that you can easily extend, or you can modify, you can add some more features into your application so that it can easily integrate with your custom application. So this is also a very good feature, and again it supports Linux and Windows. You know, not even GUI front end, even back end also it supports on both the platforms and OS, Linux and Windows. So built-in simulation models, we have already thousands of simulation models. It can be land, it can be your air entities, surface, subsurface, shapes, navals, and human characters. We have already incorporated DI guy into this VR forces, and so high fidelity terrain interactions. In our VR forces simulation, our simulation objects, suppose I have a tank. So this tank I'll call as a simulation entity or simulation object. That object interacts with terrain. So it queries the terrain, some answers will come from the terrain part, and you can easily observe, okay, I have some elevation, some depth over in front of me or nearby. So we have this high fluid terrain interactions also in that, and correspondingly you behave. It can communicate over simulated radios. In scenario like suppose you have two entities or two tanks, or it can be two aircrafts. Once they have already sensors attached to this aircrafts, and if one aircraft is coming into the another aircraft sensor range, first it will detect. Once it will detect, then it will classify, then it gives a full knowledge, like, okay, I have another aircraft in my sensor range. Now I have to communicate with my ground earth stations, saying that I have a detected enemy. So it's fully, I can say it is the detection, engagement, and simulated radios. So when you start combat with two entities or platforms, you'll be having some damage also. So we already incorporated some damage models also into our VR forces simulation tool. Now, behavior based on scenario events. In scenarios, you can incorporate some conditional events also. Suppose at this particular time, if any other enemy target comes, so how will you approach to this target, or how will you avoid this target to reach some area? That things, it's totally based on events. So that also we have using some scripts, and which uses Lua scripting language. We have very easy, user interface, very friendly user interface. In scenario, while running your scenario in VR forces, you can assign tasks or plans. Task can be have anything. Suppose I want to move one platform from one location to another location by using some roads or some waypoints through some trajectories. That task you can assign, or you can assign this task into plans. And that plans and tasks you can drop at runtime anytime. You can give another task also. So it will execute another task and come back over its first task. So this is with simple click to point and click. So it's very good features what we have already in VR forces. So BTMAC VR forces it reach a set of capabilities that enable you to create, execute, and distributed simulation scenarios. So I'll show you like what is the capability of our BTMAC VR forces simulation tool. So as I already told you, it comes with two parts: simulation graphical user interface and backend. So we have powerful simulation engine that we use for calculating some mathematical models, and that mathematical models, how will you give to GUI front end? And that powerful simulation you can separate into multiple simulation engines also, so that you can, if you have 1,000 or 2,000 or 5,000 entity scenario, so if your computer is not with the high configuration, and so you can divide this into multiple simulation engine for distribute the load. So you'll be working with real-time operations. So this is very good capability of our tool. Then I'll come to cap. So once the scenario starts, you can edit plans, assign tasks, and adding new simulation objects or environment objects. You can change some environmental conditions also in between. While running the scenario, you can change environmental conditions. Force hostility, you can change. Rules of engagement, whether it is like your own hold fire, or fire at will, or fire when fire on. So this kind of rules of engagement also we have with some land simulation objects. And multiple users can work synchronously. Suppose I have a big scenario and I'm going to create this scenario with 5,000 entities, and using a single user I cannot create. So what I can do in that, I can share this scenario to multiple users. They can make a scenario and they can combine. So you can synchronously work with multiple users, or asynchronously also you can work to create portion of the scenario and import that scenario into master scenario. So this is very usability of VR Forces. When it comes to scalability, VR Forces allows you to scale your simulation to cover the entire Earth and simulate many thousands of simulation objects simultaneously. So either you use a large geocentric terrain database to cover any size of Earth for simulation, or you can use a piece of terrain to work on that place. So VR Forces use terrain paging. What is terrain paging? Terrain paging allows VR Forces to load only the necessary part of the terrain, not all the part of terrain, because I don't need a full part of terrain to be loaded into visualization, because after that your system will get hangs. So only the part of terrain which you are interested, that you can easily page for the simulation. Now I have a flexibility. So VR Forces, it comes with a lot of features already out of the box. But if you want to add, if you want to modify, if you want to replace some already inbuilt features, then we have flexibility. Like I've already told you, it's based on totally C++. So C++ by using this APIs, we have a lot of APIs also in that, like your GUI API, your SimEngine API, Terrain API, and Simulation Object API. So by using APIs, you can extend the capability of already what VR Forces has. Then extensibility. Suppose you have already models with you, and you need to add some more parameters in your database that you can easily extend, because it's totally based on XML sheets. And .xml sheets, you can modify the parameters and you can add even. Then interoperability, you can easily integrate, like in the beginning itself, in the presentation I've suggested you, like DIS and HLA, the two standard communication protocol what we use. By using this, you can easily operate with other simulators, simulation applications. So just now what I have told you, like we have GUI-based model parameters. As you can see in this slide, you can see one aircraft. I have a fixed wing aircraft, and we have lot of already default library of models. In that you can define like what kind of platform it has. It's a fixed wing, it's a rotatory wing, it's a land vehicle, it's what. And DIS key you need to give in the beginning. Like, okay, 1:2:2, it's a DIS enumeration. Then you have to define like which it is using by which country. Then categories, like it's an aggregate, it's animal, it's a building, it's a collection area, cultural feature, engineering. Then you can give a name, a particular unique name, so that once you import into scenario, it comes with that name actually. And in the right hand side, you can see all the threshold value which we set before importing this model into our scenario. Like you can see, we have defined mass in kilograms, maximum speed, maximum altitude, maximum airspeed, default airspeed, maximum acceleration, maximum climb rate, yaw rate, pitch rate, what kind of sonar sensor signature you want to attach with that 3D model. So we have infrared sensor, active sonar, passive sonar, radar, visual sensor, and damage model also. So you can attach. So before importing into a scenario, you need to define all the database parameters before importing into a scenario. So this is your tool highlight. Before going to for tool demo, this is your brief information. This is your plan view actually. We say 2D view. In that you can see we have some entities in the scenario. You can see some green parts in the dotted line. This is your radio communication with one entity to another entity. You can see some blue circles, it is showing your sensor range or weapon range. You can see one red line, it is here. This is called what we call trajectories that you can create in the runtime also. And you can see some waypoints, and all sensor range or circles you can assign some text part also, so that you'll be knowing in the runtime, okay, this aircraft or this platform, has this much sensor range and with this sensor name. So this is, and because in VR Forces we work with both two simulation, like entity level simulation and aggregate level simulation. In entity level simulation, we combat with entity to entity. Actually, we work with entity to entity. Like in VR Forces, we have you can import lot of entities, but you cannot, if you don't want to work with all entities at the same time. I don't have interest in another part of entities. Then you can collapse as a aggregate. So that aggregate part is like unit to unit combat. It's not like individual entity to entity combat. If one entity has that I'll show you in aggregate level simulation, but in entity level simulation, it's like one entity to entity or one entity to another entity. It's not like one entity to a group of entities. So it's a stealth view. By using stealth view, you can easily place your 3D objects with precisely location. Okay, so it displays a realistic 3D view of your virtual world. Or this view provides a situational awareness and the bigger picture of the simulated world. This is what we call executed view. In that view, this is your observer mode actually, which bridges the gap between the stealth and plan view. So it is already in 3D mode, so it provides a situational awareness. And you can use spatial models, set the make models visible at greater distance. So once you zoom out or zoom in, so what happens, like once you zoom out to your simulation world, your simulation object will become very smaller. So you will not be knowing like at which place my simulation activities is going on. So to know that, you can switch it to accelerated view. So it will scale its size with zoom in, zoom out. So you can easily see in a greater distance with your simulated objects. So that feature I'll show you in tool demo while presenting. Now next we have very good features, intervisibility fan. And in intervisibility fan you can see like this green and red part. So the tank, see green part, it's in your LOS range, line of sight range. And which part, that part is red lines, it means you're not able to see beyond that part, beyond that object. So it is not in your LOS range. So if you're not seeing any target because of that building or because of terrain, you cannot even target them. But if they are in LOS range, yes, you can definitely directly hit the targets. Now recent feature what we have in VR Forces is range circuits in 3D. So earlier what we had a 2D range in circles, but now in latest version of VR Forces 4.4, I have 3D spheric range circles. In VR Forces, we have 3 observation mode, like IR black, outer window infrared, NVG. So VR Forces includes this observer mode with sensor enabled, like outer window, NVG, IR black 4, and displays can be configured for blur, noise, and gain. Blur for like sharpness of the image, noise, the gaining of the image, and gain for like to increase your contrast and brightness of the image. So these observation modes we have, and the two which is not physics based actually. This is only for normal visualization. Like I've already explained in my before slides, entity level simulation. In that only entity to entity combat happens. But now what, like if I have a company or brigade or division level of units. So they moves with whole units. They don't move with a single entities. Okay, like you go there, you go there. No, they moves with whole unit. That too, with they get the command from the commander of a staff trainer. So in aggregate level simulation, it's capable of modeling operational tempo of a large area by using by command staff level officers. So this is very useful in both training staff officers as well as your stimulating command and control system for C2 and C4I, command control communication and computers intelligence systems. And aggregate in that picture, in that slide, you can see. I can show you this. You have two platforms, two company actually. One is this red mechanical companies, and second this blue mechanical company. So in that you can see you have this red and some red and blue circles. This is your sensor ranging circles, which it covers, and red part below that entity, red part, it is showing, okay, you have finished with your fuel, you are finished with your meals, you have finished with your some officers, it's already killed, or NCOs, warrant officers, or this much weapons you have left with combat. So it depends. If both becomes red, if both becomes black, it means you cannot fight, you cannot combat further. If you have still gained, like in the left hand side, you can see you have full strength. So it shows your strength. So they are combating in this manner. So you not see like one entity to entity combat is happening. It is combat with units. So aggregate level simulation model includes aggregate combat models, combat engineering models. Combat engineering models in that you can create some bridges in between while combat with other units also. You can create bridge, you can create minefields, you can clear the minefields. No, and we have in that electronic warfare models also. Suppose if you want to jam another another units or platforms signals, that you can use jammers. We have movement models, sensor models, weather models, NBC models, nuclear, biological and chemical models, and intelligence model. So this is our latest feature. It's using by command and staff trainers in Army. NATO Indian US Army is using more. So we have forces application where our tool is using. First, Air Support Operations Center. For Air Support Operations Center, US Air Force and UK, they are using for close air support and airspace management. UAV surveillance and operation training. So by using this, they construct a training system to teach a team of sensor payload operators for proper surveillance tactics and strategies. Wargaming to stimulate C4I. So Raytheon Integrated Defense System, they selected this tool to drive the wargaming and training component of their command view for C4I systems. Air Defense Battle Management. So Air Defense Ground Environment Simulator, it was developed by DSTO, by Royal Australian Air Force, for the training system and prepare for personnel for network-centric operations. CST experimentation. So in the beginning itself, I've told you, like for aggregate level simulation, they are using for CST, command staff trainer. So Norway Defense, they are using for this technology. Next is Naval C3 system. Naval C3 system using the Royal Danish Navies, they are using this system for their application. Developing air and ground traffic policies. So US technologies, they have more accessible increase in air traffic and particularly urban centers. So for this operations, for supporting all the airport operations also, they are using this tool. Ship navigation training and mechanized infantry training. So this is our main applications by using our tool, VIA Forces. Now I'll quickly take you to the tool of VIA Forces tool. So what you are seeing currently is your front end, GUI. And another part is simulation engine, which calculates all the algorithms in the background actually. So this is your simulation engine in the command prompt. So now I'll brief you about my scenario. Like recently we are having some militants, they are approaching into our LOC regions. So how to react with this militants and all, and how to approach to this location and to this particular geographical region, whether we have the capability to reach or not. So to check that, you can see this tool, and I've made it one scenario. In that scenario, I'll brief you. This is your one piece of terrain, and you have two blue aircrafts, and which you can see in the left-hand side object list. And if I zoom in, so you can see I have this dragging and panning operations. I'm zooming in, and you can see it's a village actually, and it is captured by some militants. The red forces you can see. These are militants, and it's one chopper. So now you can see it is in plan view, and the bitmaps what you are seeing, it is ML standard 2525P. So now if you switch it to 3D mode, you can go to this observer and change it to 3D mode. So if I zoom in, I'll show you like how easily it uses navigation, like gaming and navigation. So you have this tank, some DIY characters, soldiers. So these militants, this village. So it's a 3D view actually. Now you can see this tree also. It's a speed tree which already included in VIA Forces, and it moves fast and low, depends on the wind speed. And if I zoom out, you can see one chopper here. And we have one wonderful feature with that. You can incorporate sound also in Windows. So you have one articulated part, then only it moves. So with this model, it's already have articulated part, that's why rotor is moving. So once you place your mouse click on top of that model, the current marking, current DS type, force, it's opposing the current selected platform's name, speed, heading. So currently it is 0.0 km/h because now scenario is not running. If I zoom out, I have two aircrafts also, which is friendly aircrafts. If you want to go to that particular place, you can select this particular aircraft and right click and attach the observer mode as follow. So you can see it's my friendly aircraft. It's a Thunderbolt actually. And what is the current parameters? You can see the speed is 0.0, heading is 270 degree, location altitude is 573. So now because this village is at very high altitude and they cannot soldiers. So I've taken these two aircraft. I'm sending two aircrafts. Go over there. Go to this location, this village, and capture this area. Recapture this area. So if you want to see whole things in the parallel mode, you can open different views. I'll open one stealth window, another stealth window, to track all entities simultaneously. So I'm selecting this. I'll select this in this mode and attach follow, and just open in zoom mode. I'll open one more window. We say it is a plan window, and you can see parallelly what is happening in runtime here. Okay. Now we'll go to this place in the depth. Okay. So I have now 3 windows. One is in plan window. You can see a full bigger picture of your scenario. Left hand side, I'm tracking one Thunderbolt aircraft, like how it is targeting the enemy, and a bigger view of in 3D. So I'll start this scenario. You can see in the left hand side in 3D how my aircraft is moving. So it is showing some shafts because another chopper, you can see here, he had hit by some missiles actually. So now that blue aircraft, it is going down and is attacking to chopper, and it's head down, and all soldiers hit by this aircraft even. You can see all soldiers take it down. And in right hand side, you can see these 2 aircrafts, they attacked this particular place and they left off. So now this village we have captured actually. So this is all things what we have seen in this scenario. I will close these 2 windows. So now if you want to see, it is in different modes. So like we have IR modes. So that you can see in IR, infrared mode. We have NVG modes. This is your NVG mode. Now come back to our temp window. Now still see, scenario is running. In the runtime itself, you can give some commands to this tank. Okay, just select this tank platform and give task. Task is movement task, and move to location. See, we have different tasks like move to location with plan routes, move to waypoint, patrol the route. So I'll say move to location using routes only. So okay, go to this point and say yes. So see that tank is moving now. And you see that visualization effects also what we have already with this via visualization tool. via Vantage we have already incorporated with via Forces. And if you want to change the weather, because your combat power depends on your weather also. So if I go to this weather option, if I select this, see here you can change the date, time of hour currently. You can change weather from here. Like we have a lot of options for this weather conditions. Clear, mostly clear, partly cloudy, mostly cloudy. So it depends, like if it is raining or if it is snowing. So if you are earlier, before rainy, if your visible distance is 50 meter, after raining it will become near. Only within 30 meters you can see. So all environmental effect conditions also, it affects your platform and entities. I'll pause the scenario. we have option for as I told you, accelerated mode. In that mode, you can see this 3D colorized model. So if I zoom out, so they are scaling with by themselves. See, now they have a bit bigger picture. So I can understand, like with this region, we have some red forces and these two aircrafts. So this is accelerated mode. Come back to stealth mode. Now, the intervisibility function, which I have discussed in your slide, that I'll show you. Select this particular platform and create intervisibility fan. So this is your intervisibility fan. So as you can see, the green part, it is showing, it means you have the particular part in your LOS, your line of sight range. But the red part is you cannot see beyond this turn part. So even if you're not seeing, you cannot interact with that particular platform. So this is a very good features. You can see our intervisibility fan. Now I'll show you sensor range ring circles. If I zoom out, you can see it is in Sphere 3D. So this is a recent feature which we have incorporated in VR Forces, ranging circles in 3D. And if I zoom, this is your sensor maximum sensor range, 5,000 meter. That you can see in green text. If I zoom out again, this is your black red spheroid circle. It means this is your helicopter missile range. It's 20,000 meter, 20 kilometers. So this is 3D sphere ranging circles options. And even if you want to see current height of above the terrain, you choose this option, and now you can see have one yellow line showing 57 meter. So for other aircrafts also, it will show the height. You can see now my blue aircraft is having 500 meter above. This is also a very good feature. Okay, now how to create, I'll switch it to plan mode view, and I'll show you how quickly you can create some targets. You have one right-hand side tool, simulation objects tool. There you can select, okay, I need a fixed wing, you have a lot of default library. You select one target and place it, just drag and drop in your simulation. Here, I have placed. If I zoom in, you can select this aircraft, right click, and you can edit like how much altitude you want, or current locations you can see here on the right hand side. So I have this name FTR FW50 saying heading 0.0. Okay, I can give some commands here. Just go to this option task, movements. For if it is an aircraft, you can see we have a lot of tasks already here: pattern hold, pattern fixed wing land, fixed wing takeoff, follow the entity, fly altitude. Okay, so I'll give this move to altitude. So if I say it is 1000, say yes, okay, and then no. I'll refresh the scenario. I'll again bring one object. So this is all like how we run the scenario. Now I can show you some examples in terrain. So this we have one terrain option here. So in the terrain option, you can see like how we can import terrain part. So here you can see we have a lot of supported terrain format: GDB, MTL, MEDF, dictate file, FLT, MFT, C4P. This all kind of terrain we can import into terrain. Yes, we have in that scenario very good features. Scripted task. So through your scripted task, it's based on Lua scripting language. You can change your currently executive task or tasks, and in runtime it responds like instantly. So we have already scripted task attached with this aircrafts, carrier demo, embedded entity. Like in aircraft, what we have: attack aircraft with guns, close cargo doors, deploy, execute closure support, fixed wing land, fixed wing takeoff. For carrier demo, land on carrier, taxi on carrier. So embarkation also, these features we have in VR Forces. Embedded entity. This is for your land vehicles and land DI characters like angry crowd, animate with reference, conversation, bounding, overwatch, move in cover. So these all are our scripted tasks which we have already incorporated with VR Forces. If you need to add or if you want to modify, you can easily achieve. So this is all. Thank you for this presentation and listening my presentation patiently. Thank you.
Thank you, Amit. Yeah, we are moving on to Rappa Naik. So the next section is going to handle. We are moving on to Q&A session directly. So we can handle. If anyone having any questions, please let us know. And you can drop your query in the chat window. So Amit can answer your queries here.